Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, Nigerian army claims rescue of over 20,000 people held hostage by Boko Haram militants in the northeast. Denies allegation of killing 40 of the Chibok girls. Leaders in the Niger Delta condemn increasing tensions in the area, recommend development as solution to militancy. The All Progressives Congress promises level playing field for all aspirants in the party's governorship primary scheduled for August the 27th. And Turkey plans more active role in the efforts to end the war in Syria.
On business news tonight, Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele becomes president of the Association of African Central Banks.
And in sports news, Nigeria win first medal at the Rio Olympics. The African champions beat Honduras 3-2 to win bronze in the men's football event.
We begin tonight with the revelation by the Chief of Army Staff that over 20,000 people who were kidnapped by the Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast have been rescued by troops of the Nigerian Army since he assumed office. The Army Chief, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, said this in Kaduna, where he gave the assurance that the ongoing counterinsurgency operations in the northeast would ensure the release of the abducted Chibok girls and others kidnapped by the insurgents. He affirmed that the plan to dialogue with the representatives of the militants does not in any way stop the troops from continuing the search for the abducted Chibok girls and others hostages. He also debunked the allegations that the salaries and allowances of troops who sustained injuries at the theatre of operations in the northeast have been suspended. In the meantime, the theatre commander of the counterinsurgency war, Major General Lucky Irabo, has refuted the claims by Boko Haram that airstrikes by Operation Lafia Dole killed some of the abducted Chibok girls. Major General Lucky Irabo, at a press briefing in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, described the claims as part of a propaganda by the group to draw empathy. The insurgents had alleged that 40 of the abducted girls died from airstrikes by the army.
Some members of the Operation Lafia Dole and newsmen at the media briefing where the theatre commander of the counterinsurgency war, Major General Lucky Irabo, debunked the claim by a faction of Boko Haram that 40 out of the over 200 abducted Chibok schoolgirls were killed during airstrikes by Operation Lafia Dole.
Airstrikes are not AK-47 rifles. What you deliver through air power are bombs. It's only a matter of sense, common sense, that those dead bodies shown on the ground there do not even give indication as to the reality or the claim which Boko Haram gave. So it does not make sense. If they have killed the Chibok, they will be held accountable for what they did.
While trying to hold the insurgents accountable for their actions, Major General Irabo said in continuation of the clearance operations in liberated towns around Borno State, the theatre command has taken delivery of 3 minesweepers to detect improvised explosive devices left in farmlands and towns by the fleeing insurgents.
This one that is coming now is quite unique in the sense that it has better, greater advantages over the other ones that we receive. But that doesn't stop anybody who wants to go to the farms to farm. The farms that we'll be using them for, it's not all the farmland. It is those that we suspect to have many of those unexploded munitions or IEDs that have been laid by the Boko Haram terrorists.
The theatre commander of Operation Lafia Dole also enjoins Boko Haram members to surrender as the army will not relent in its operations.
And leaders from the Niger Delta have been brainstorming on how to curtail the spate of militancy in the region. Participants at a session which held at the Petroleum Training Institute Electoral in Delta State condemned the destruction of oil and gas facilities by militants. They also demanded the redeployment of military personnel to the region.
The Niger Delta region has for some time now been hit by tension arising not only from conflicts between oil companies and groups, but also between the communities and government. Agitators in the region believe that they are being exploited. These conflicts have brought about the emergence of various militant groups, the latest being the Niger Delta Avengers, who have claimed responsibility for the destruction of oil and gas facilities in recent times. The Delta State Governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, elder statesman and Ijaw leader, Chief Edwin Clark, are some of the participants who converged on the Petroleum Training Institute, Electoral, to proffer solutions to vandalism and violence in the region.
There's tension in our area. Tension everywhere. To the extent that people are moving from their homes. What happened between 2005 and 2009 should not be allowed to happen again.
They all condemn the wanton destruction of oil facilities in the region and ask that the military be redeployed from the region.
The federal government has a responsibility to ensure that there's an enabling environment for peace and ensure that there's welfare and security for its peoples, including Niger Delta.
We must ensure that we change the narrative. The narrative is more of sustainable development than discussion of insecurity. I've always espoused that the issues of the Niger Delta are not security issues. They are more of sustainable development issues.
The Delta State Governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, on his part, harps on synergy between those picked to dialogue with the federal government.
It's important for us to define those who should represent us. It's not about the governors. The governors have their way of talking, but it may all be referred to as politics. But the leaders, it's not about politics. Whether people are in APC or PDP or Labour Party, select those who you believe genuinely will speak for our people.
The participants are also asking for the implementation of the recommendations at the last national conference, the start-off of the Maritime University, as well as the adequate funding of the Niger Delta Development Commission.
The Akwa Ibom State Police Command has arrested 3 suspected pipeline vandals in Eket's local government area of the state. The police public relations officer of the command, Mrs. Cordelia Onwewa, alleges that the suspects were found with improvised explosive devices, IEDs, capable of destroying high-pressure oil pipelines.
The accusations leveled against them are grave. The suspects are said to have been arrested at a hotel in Eket town. The police alleges that IEDs capable of destroying high-pressure oil pipelines were recovered from them.
We're saying we'll keep going back into the nooks and crannies of everywhere. It doesn't matter the jurisdiction where they are. So long as this is Akwa Ibom, we'll keep Akwa Ibom safe. You look at people who are very suspicious, in very suspicious manners that are back at Akwa Ibom. You need to speak with the police and say to us. You don't need to physically talk to us. All you need to do is dial our emergency numbers to talk to us.
There are 2 sides to a coin, they say, and 2 of these suspects have their own side of the story. They denied the allegations leveled against them.
Let me take you to my compound. If anybody in the compound asks, maybe happens to say, I've done anything like this before. I do supply, sand supply, work with Ibom Tipa Association. I told them, take me to the church. My pastor called them and told them everything. My pastor, even when if I want to talk, they slap my 2 ears. I cannot do it, so I will not say anything. This thing is a frame, they are framing me. God in heaven knows.
Let the prophet confirm that I'm a criminal, then he kill me. If you are criminal, you just kill me for vain. I want to serve God. I'm a child of God.
In a bid to reduce crime in Akwa Ibom State, the police is asking residents to be on the alert and report any suspicious movement in their community.
On the 18th, 2016.
The Sultan of Sokoto and President of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Al-Haji Muhammad Saad Abu Bakr III, has restated his call for peaceful coexistence of Nigeria. The Sultan made this remark at the inauguration of the Interfaith Center in Kaduna, where he stated that no country survives a religious war. The event was attended by the state governor, Niger Delta, and leaders of other faiths, including the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, John Cardinal Onaikan.
The quest for peaceful coexistence of Nigerians is part of the reasons for the meeting of these religious leaders at the International Center for Interfaith, Peace and Harmony in Kaduna State. The socio-political challenges of the nation were part of the issues discussed at the event. The Sultan stresses the importance of dialogue in resolving sensitive issues.
I believe dialogue is the best option in any conflict resolution, not use of force. We believe it's not so. That's not the teachings of our holy books. And that's why I think this center is very different from others. Because we want to make it a focus or a center where people can now come in, find out what's been happening. When people do have problems, which is normal, please reach out to this center. We will get to the bottom of the problem, take it to the highest authority, whether at federal or state levels, and see how we can bring peace to our various communities.
In the same vein, Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai discountenances the series of crises in the state in recent past, calling for a lasting peace among the different religious groups.
Since 1980, Kaduna has gone through 12 rounds of violence associated with ethnic or religious differences that has led to the death of about 20,000 people and the destruction of property worth billions. In our government policies, decisions and actions, we have been de-emphasizing these differences.
Other religious leaders at the event stressed the need to identify causes of ethnic and religious conflicts in the country, with a view to finding their lasting solution.
There are the majority of Nigerians who simply want to live in peace like we are sitting down together here. Live in peace with one another and to worship God freely. This is possible, and that is what we are engaged in.
And if the common message of peace from these leaders is taken seriously by the citizens, one can expect a more harmonious interfaith relationship in Nigeria.
In 2019, elections are likely not to be game as usual. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says that every ballot will count. The chairman, while speaking with journalists in Lagos, says that technology will play a big role in 2019 and it will be a huge improvement on the 2015 efforts. Professor Yakubu says that votes are now counted in Nigeria's elections, but for him, the Commission will ensure that tracking of votes will be a more detailed one come 2019. Some residents of Kuruduma community in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State, north-central Nigeria, are counting their losses after floods ravaged the area. One person has been confirmed dead and several others wounded in the flash floods that went through the settlement. The 7-year-old boy was said to have sought refuge in the ceiling of an apartment along with his other siblings while the flood lasted, but was found dead thereafter. In part 2, after the break, immigration recruits kick against invitation for rescreening by the service as they continue their protests in Abuja. Join us again.